As I'm in the process of building my new studio, I thought I'd give you a bit of a tour of it without all the tech, because actually too often when you see studio tours it is hard to see through everything, at least in mine with all the clutter that seems to be in them. So this is where I'm at with it. I'll just give you a quick spin around and then talk through what I've done. So what I'm going to do is have my main primary camera over there on that wall. So you can see that there are three brackets, one up at the top left and top right. Those are for my key light, which is on this side. That's the same setup basically as I had in my old studio, the Nanlite Forza 60 with a 3-foot 90cm softbox. Over on the other side is the fill light. That is the Nanlite Forza 60 with a 60cm softbox. Probably I should save this part for when I've actually got it in there, but that's what's going there. I've then got another bracket down here, which is a mounting for my primary camera with the teleprompter. In my old studio, it was on a tripod, and it always made it really difficult to actually get behind the computer whenever I needed to do anything. So I've got a really good gap here between the desk and the wall, so I can kind of get fully behind it and duck down beneath the camera to go and do anything that I need to do behind there. I've also built a sort of custom desk, or at least a custom desktop. A couple of temporary legs on it there. I've got to get some actual ones that fit, but I couldn't find any locally, so I've got one of those. But it's basically just taken my old desk and then created a much larger tabletop, cut it all out, put some teak veneer on it, and then just gave it a quick varnish. Got to put the edging trim on it yet as well. But basically, the way that I normally have my setup, if you saw my old studio, I tend to have my, I always have my large monitor sort of off to one side, and then the camera off to an angle from that. So what this means is that when I'm sort of filming, I'll be sitting sort of directly parallel to the wall, looking into the camera here. But then for actual work, my monitor will be off to this side, and then I also have a vertical monitor that will be wrapped around into there. So what I wanted to do with this setup though was actually have a couple of different camera angles that I can work like for content, not just a different angle of me sitting in the same position. And so that's what this wall behind me is for. I'm going to have another camera that's mounted on this wall over here, and so the view of that one is going to be back towards this arrangement here, which actually serves two purposes. I'll come to that in a moment, but just imagine that the main camera is going to be somewhere here. This is a bit of a fisheye lens, so it's quite distorted. It will basically be a lot more cropped in onto that back wall. It's not going to seem quite so wide angle as this. Use a Sigma 30mm lens on my camera, so you just get a much narrower field of view. What you might also notice though is that there's no visible way in, apart from maybe if you see that door handle. So that is the main entrance, and what I've done is I've just completely covered not only that door but the rest of the wall as well. And in fact, if you saw the original tour of the empty studio when I first got the keys, there is actually another door behind there that I've just completely blocked off because it just goes into a bathroom. There is another door into that bathroom from outside, so I can manage with one door into the bathroom hopefully. So that is just panelled across all of the wall and the doors. I've got these acoustic panels. These are the same ones that I had made in my previous studio. So this is a sort of acoustic foam around a wooden frame, and then I put this material on the front. They're kind of stood off from the wall by about 2 inches, and then they're about 2 inches thick. I have lights behind those, so that sort of illuminates out around the outside. I did sort of make a slight modification to these ones. I used the exact same acoustic panels, but I just added this patterned material onto the front of it. It's just kind of whatever it is, fiberboard, and then just sprayed to add a little bit more of an interesting sort of feature to them, so they're not just all plain. I've got another acoustic panel there. That is because there is a window behind that, and I want to have as much control over the light as possible, so I blocked that window out. I then also blocked the window out over here. This is actually a much taller one, so I blocked it out with an acoustic panel shelving unit with a backing on it as well, so that's stopping the light getting in there. While we're talking about acoustic panels, there is also acoustic panels. Whoops, if I can get this to, it's too busy trying to follow my face around. Let me try and show you up on the ceiling. We've got an acoustic panel hanging from the ceiling just up here. I've actually got another one to put up above my head. What you'll also notice though there is that there is an air conditioning unit. Whoops, if I can control my camera properly. An air conditioning unit up on the wall there, and so I've got another acoustic panel that's suspended from the ceiling And the point of that is it's not blocking the aircon itself, so that can still sort of flow out over the top. But when I'm sitting at this desk and I've got my microphone here, that is blocking out the sort of direct line, if you like, from any noise from that, just to help a little bit with the acoustics. I've then got another acoustic panel on the wall there, and everything in front of this will be all sort of blocked off. You can get some bass traps, which I'll get to add in there as well. Bass traps are basically acoustic foam, but they just go into the corners. Again, helps with the acoustics. But back to this part over here, because again, if you saw the original tour for this, you'll know that there's, as well as the windows on either side, there was also a big sliding door over here. And so I wanted a way to block that out, but I didn't want to just completely block it up. You know, I do like some daylight at some point when I'm not actually filming. So what I did was I got this shelving unit and basically added this as a hard back onto it with this sort of patterned fascia material. So that gives a sort of, in my opinion, a relatively nice featured background there. And then, to be honest with you, I was really debating using this because it's become a bit of a hack design cheat, really, that, you know, so many content creators just have this exact same thing going on in the background. But it was available in the local store, and so I figured I'd just use it. But what we've got though is, because there is a security frame on these doors, it's basically a metal grille on the inside, I've essentially just attached that fascia board to that. So what that means is that when I'm not recording, I have actually still got plenty of natural light coming in there. So it means that when I'm sitting at the desk, I've still got a view out over the garden and everything else that's going on outside there. And the same with, I've got some other furniture like a chair to put in here, that'll still have the view out of there as well. So that means though that when I am recording, it's basically all of the light, all of the audio is controlled. I did also back these things with acoustic foam as well, so it means that when the door is shut, not only is it keeping the light out, but it's also helping to reduce the sound that's coming in from that door. I've still got a few other things to do on this side as well. You'll notice the little foam thing there is just still not quite straight. I've got another unit to put up on the wall here. And there's a bit of a gap there you'll see between the bottom of that stuff over there, the fascia and the desk. So I've got a whole thing to put in there, whole sort of built-in unit that's going to help me bring power and things like that out to things that I'm going to have on the desk there. But yeah, that means though that I'll be able to have another camera over here, and when I have got this one all set up like that, then it means that this will basically, and again the cropping will be a bit better than this, but this will basically be another set that I'll be able to use just for a slightly different look and feel to some of the content. So that's where I'm at. I'm pretty much at the stage now where I can start to move things in. So tomorrow I'm going to start bringing in the lights, the camera and all of that kind of thing, start positioning them. There are a few other cosmetic things that I've got to do, but those can be happening sort of around that. Also at the moment it's tiled. I'm going to get some carpet down here as well, so that'll be the next thing. But as soon as I start getting all the things in, a few little items on the shelves and things like that, it's really going to help with the acoustics. I mean, just even the acoustic panels and things that I've got in have already made a huge difference. But yeah, when I get those final things in, there's a big sort of unit to go along that whole back wall, which hasn't arrived yet as well. But when that does, that'll be the last piece of sort of large furniture, I guess, to go in. But yeah, this is where I'm going to be for the foreseeable future, at least for the next 2 years, I guess, at least. And so this is where you're going to likely see the rest of my content coming from, except I should say the things that I'm doing downstairs, because if you saw the little tour I did, I'll leave a link to it in the description in case you didn't. Yeah, I did a tour of this building. This is basically 3 separate rooms that are going to be 3 separate studios, but the one downstairs is the one that I'm calling the main stage, and that's actually going to be a much bigger sort of virtual stage for me to use, or a real stage but use online for workshops, presentations and things like that, where I'll be able to sort of have a lot more freedom to move around and sort of a lot more interactive sort of space. So that's the next thing I'm going to be building after I finish this one. Hope that was a little bit interesting. It's funny to do a studio tour when there's no actual gear in it, but hopefully that will make it all make a lot more sense when I do the next video, which will be with it all kitted out. I'll see you all later on. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments.